Welcome to today's ceremony, where we will be recognizing one of the greatest players to ever wear the maroon and gold for the Kutztown University football team, John Mobley. I'm Josh Leboff. I'm Acting Vice President of University Relations and Athletics, and I'll serve as moderator for today's festivities. Before we begin our program, I would like to recognize several special guests that we have with us today. One of our hosts, the President's wife, Anne Marie Hayes Hawkinson. Representing the President's Cabinet, Dr. Lauren Faison Arnold, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Matt Delaney, Vice President for Finance and Facilities. Donovan McCarville, Interim Vice President for Enrollment Management and Student Affairs. Alex Ojika, Executive Director of the Kutztown University Foundation. And Jesus Pena, I don't know if I saw Jesus, okay. Jesus is our Vice President for Equity, Compliance, and Liaison for Legal Affairs. We're also joined by members of our Council of Trustees. Chairperson, Mr. Robert Grimm, Esquire. Secretary, Mr. Kevin Harden, Esquire. Our student trustee, Evan Santos. And I don't think I saw Jack Lobby, our Hall of Famer. Jack Lobby is not able to be with us today. I would also like to recognize our Kutztown University Director of Athletics, Renee Heller. And from the President's office, as she ducks out of the door there, Toya Hayward. John Mobley racked up a treasure chest of awards and accolades during a storied career with the Kutztown University football team from 1991 to 1995. He was a two-time KU Athlete of the Year, two-time All-Region, four-time All-PSAC East, six-time All-America, the 1995 PSAC East Athlete of the Year, and the 1995-96 KU Senior Athlete of the Year. He carried the banner for Kutztown University on a national stage, becoming the first player in school history to receive Senior Bowl and Blue Parade game invitations in 1995. The Denver Broncos selected him with the 15th overall pick in the first round of the 1996 NFL Draft. He became the highest drafted player in PSAC history and the third player drafted from KU all-time. John went on to make an immediate impact with the Broncos in '96, starting every game as a rookie, finishing third in the Associated Press Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. His follow-up campaign in 1997 was even more special. John was named to first-team All-Pro. He was instrumental in Denver winning its first Super Bowl in franchise history, knocking down Brett Favre's pass on 4th and 6 in the final minute to preserve the Broncos' 31-24 victory. Mobley and the Broncos capped the '98 season by repeating as Super Bowl champions with a 34-19 win over the Atlanta Falcons. A spinal injury suffered during a game against the Baltimore Ravens in 2003 brought an untimely and premature end to Mobley's pro playing career. Since retiring from the NFL, John has been named to the Division II Team of the Quarter Century. In 2012, he was inducted into the Division II Football Hall of Fame. In 2015, John was named to KU's all-time football team. He currently serves as defensive coordinator at Lyman High School in Longwood, Florida. Today, we will be presenting our guest of honor with his induction into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, an associate's degree, and the KU President's Medal. To begin our program, our first speaker joins us to represent the current team. In his 8th season as head coach, he has led the Golden Bears to the 2021 PSAC title, 3 NCAA playoff appearances, and PSAC Eastern Division regular season titles. He is tied with the late great George Baldwin atop the all-time wins list in KU football history with 61 victories. Please welcome head KU football coach, Jim Clements.
Sorry about the hat. If I take this off, there'll be some major hat. I also want to introduce two of our captains, three of our captains here. Amani Justice plays linebacker for us. Cody Shears, a safety for us, and Jerry Catt plays wide receiver. Thanks for coming over. Kutztown's a really special place, and I'm blessed to be able to coach great kids and be at this institution. Growing up, you hear about Kutztown and you're thinking there's some really good football players that played here when I was growing up, and I was playing college football all the time. John was up here doing his thing up in PSAC, and what a tremendous player and what a great representation of Kutztown University football program. I was fortunate enough. I was invited to see some of the guys in the back. We worked some camps at first down in Chester, and it was pretty cool. John has all these. He has his camp, and he's helping out the community, getting the young guys involved in football, and it was pretty special going down there and seeing that. And we moved it over to Widener last time I was down there, but I can tell you he gives a lot back to the community. Even though he's down in Florida now, he's coming up and helping the community where he had played at and did some great things at. And he had a message to our kids today before the game, talking about being unselfish, and just talking about being a great teammate and doing whatever it takes for your teammates. And that's our mantra here at Kutztown. We want to be great teammates. We want to be unselfish. We want to be disciplined. We want to be the best representation of our school. And John did an outstanding job talking to our guys, and we're really proud to represent you every time we go out on the field, as we do all our alumni here at Kutztown. But he's a special guy. And again, this is awesome. You're getting all these awards, and you're well deserved. We could have used you today. After that quarterback. But our guys played their tails off, and I'm super proud of our guys. It's just, you got to flush that one, right? Move on to the next and go 1-0 and get back to work. And I'm fortunate to have great coaches and great players, and we're going to keep doing what we need to do here at Kutztown. But this is about John today, and again, man, congratulations. Appreciate you.
Sure if we we're going to have to check the computer to see if he's got any eligibility, but thanks, Coach. John has several family members and friends here with us today. To the Mobley family and friends, where are you? Thank you. We'll begin our presentations with the induction into the Kutztown University Athletics Hall of Fame. As is our tradition when inducting members into the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, I will read a testimonial from an eyewitness to John's accomplishments as a Golden Bear. Today I present you to the words of Matt Santos, our current Vice President of University Relations and Athletics, who at that time was the Sports Information Director and covered the majority of John's career. Unfortunately, Matt is unable to be with us here this evening due to a personal commitment. Matt Santos writes, "When I arrived at Kutztown University in the summer of 1992 as the school sports information director, the Golden Bear football team was coming off one of the best offensive campaigns in program history. The head coach that year, the late Barry Fetterman, was an offensive-minded genius, but he was quick to talk about a sophomore he had on defense that really stood out to him, a linebacker from Chichester who wore the number 90 by the name of John Mobley. John was a standout, having come to KU after 3 years of FCS level and witnessing some pro level talent. I thought John could develop into something special. Unfortunately, our football program ran into some challenges. In 1992, we faced a coaching change and a significant upheaval in the roster. John sat out in 93 as the team was 2-9 under head coach Al Leonzi, a secondary education professor and a KU Hall of Famer, who had served as a defensive coordinator in the 70s and 80s at Kutztown. There was no argument that Coach Leonzi's teams were strong defensively, and he knew to continue that, he needed to get John back on the field for his junior year. John did return at linebacker to bolster a defense that helped the team improve to 5-5, 4-2 in the conference in '94. Coach Leonzi was also one who knew how to attract the spotlight, and those of us who were around that year will remember how the entire season was overshadowed by a 46-year-old defensive tackle named Chuck Roseberry. You remember Chuck? Chuck garnered national attention, being the oldest college football player at that time to play in a game. And that spotlight didn't end until he ended up in that game late in the season. The future NFL player who lined up behind him simply did his job. Then came '95, John's senior year, and one that I will never forget. In the days before KU football was a dynasty, we had tales of Doug Dennison, Bruce Harper, Pro Football Hall of Famer Andre Reed, and the 1980 division title. I would argue John's senior year trumped all of those. At one point during the season, I took Coach Leonzi and John to a football writers' luncheon in Philadelphia, and I remember grabbing John's arm to get his attention to talk to a reporter. There was no squeeze at all. He was made of rock. And it just did an interview with John, and I think it's still. I remember the car ride home and Coach Leonzi saying the scouts were projecting John to be a 5th-round choice in the next spring, and I believed it. As the season progressed, John received more and more attention. The request I received for credentials from NFL scouts was nothing like I have experienced before, even at the FCS level. I can tell you about John's accolades and stats, but they're all there for you to read. So I'll tell you about 2 games from that senior year. One was a home game against Bloomsburg on a dreary day at University Field. The Huskies had a running back named Irv Sigler. He would become the Harlan Hill Award winner later, which is the Division II version of the Heisman Trophy. Sigler would take a handoff and burst into the open, and there was one player standing in his way in maroon and gold, and that was John Mobley. John met him head on, and the collision could be heard in the press box. It felt like the earth shook. A clean tackle served Sigler was knocked out cold. We have a rule not to cheer in the press box during games, but the unanimous gasp from reporters and press row workers was very audible. In the box with us that day was an NFL scout from a team in the AFC West located near the Rocky Mountains. Spoiler alert. In the second game, I want to mention that Golden Bears had just beaten Westchester Golden Rams for a few times in their long history of matchups. That day at Farrell Stadium, John went off on offense, defense, and special teams, helping KU to a 21-12 win and an eventual 6-4 record, 4-2 in the PSAC East, while holding opponents to a total of just 114 points on the season. It was the best defense I have seen at KU prior to what we're seeing at Andre Reed Stadium these days. The attention John received after the '95 season only increased, and his pro stock continued to rise. Fast forward to the NFL draft, April of 1996. I traveled with both of our beat writers, Jeff Schuler from the Morning Call and Matt Malinowski from the Rain Eagle, to Madison Square Garden to cover the draft. Back then, the NFL did a few rounds on day one, so we were hoping to see John selected. John traveled to the venue, as did Coach Leonzi, and I remember sitting in the auditorium at MSG, pinching myself that I was at the NFL draft, at times forgetting it was for work purposes. Not really knowing what to expect, I sat with our reporters as each team went through their picks. I did not think we had to really be on alert until the very end of the first round, maybe the second, which I thought would be a phenomenal accomplishment. Then, suddenly, Commissioner Paul Tagliabue announces, with the 15th pick, the Denver Broncos selected John Mobley, Kutztown University. I remember the awe on the face of the 2 seasoned reporters as we watched John take the stage. Not only that, but they pronounced our school name correctly. I admit we had some help, as one of KU's alums, Leslie Hammond, was handling media relations for the NFL and helped make sure the commissioner knew how to say Kutztown and about John. She also helped find a location at the MSG to hold an impromptu press conference with John after he was selected. Something at the time that only was reserved for the top 10 picks. Here was a guy who went from sleeping in a walk-in closet at the Cliffs to what I'm assuming was much better living conditions after that on a sunny day in April afternoon in Manhattan. John came back to KU just a few days later for the all-sports banquet to much excitement. In 1999, we retired his number 90 jersey number in front of an even bigger crowd. Personally, I have been blessed to see many great athletes in 37 years covering college athletics. No one comes close to what I saw from John Mobley during his senior season. No one. John, congratulations on your well-deserved President's Medal, your associate's degree, and your long overdue induction in the KU Athletics Hall of Fame. And thank you for being one of the top highlights of my career, end quote. I now ask KU President Dr. Kenneth Hawkinson to come forward and present the award. John, you can come forward as well. Now, we have 2 Hall of Fame plaques. So I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. We inducted John about 20 years ago. So we have the old-time Hall of Fame plaque and the new one. So we'll give them both. But we're just so happy that John is here. So it gives me great pleasure to officially induct the newest member of the KU Athletics Hall of Fame, John Mobley.
John, take your glasses off. Oh.
Now this is the new school Hall of Fame. Give you that one too.
You want to rewind?
All right. Okay. And we could show him what's going to go in the actual display
And
case.
this is the Hall of Fame plaque that will go in the display case down in Keystone. It says 2002. Maybe we can get it changed to 2022, but either way.
That's what we're looking at all the day. So. Handsome guy, right? Congratulations, John, for the Hall of Fame. Thank you so much.
Our next presentation is an associate's degree. To present this degree, please welcome once again President Hawkinson.
Well, again, thank you all so much for coming and welcome to the President's House. We're just delighted to be able to honor such an amazing man today and to honor him in 3 very, very important ways. So, we're now here to recognize and celebrate one of the great accomplishments in an individual's lifetime, earning a college degree. I'm delighted that we're able to do this special commencement commemoration for our distinguished alum, John Mobley. Several years ago, Alex, Anne Marie, and I had lunch with John down in Florida, and we learned that because of his enormous talent in football, he left school before finishing his degree to pursue his dream of being a professional football player. Well, upon my return to KU, and with John's permission, we looked up his records and found that he had more than enough credits and met all the requirements to earn an associate's degree at our sister institution, Clarion University. KU doesn't offer associate degrees, and so Clarion very kindly agreed to work with us on helping John to get his very well-deserved degree. Then COVID hit, and the process was delayed a few years, but we are delighted to be able to now confer this well-earned degree today. Now let me speak for just a moment about what college is and its transformative role in a person's life. College was created many years ago to awaken young people, to challenge their minds, to alert them to the possibilities that exist before them, to make them work hard and experience the personal growth and the joy that comes from a threshold achieved and a grade well earned. Along with that awakening, students need to be made curious, to seek out new knowledge and experiences. It is through knowledge and experience that one finds wisdom. A college education then seeks to build character and to set students on the path to self-knowledge. Finally, after the awakening, making our students curious and helping in the development of strong character, we must then instill a gratefulness and a humility that for our students will lead to an educated mind, an enlightened soul, and a life fulfilled. This is the purpose of college. And these are the values of Kutztown University, Clarion University, and the state system. These are indeed the values of John Mobley. These are the values that he has displayed throughout his life, and we are delighted to recognize his academic achievements and his contributions to our society by awarding him this degree. John, would you please come forward? By the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and the state system of higher education, and with the support of Clarion University, I do now confer upon you the degree of Associate of Arts with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto appertaining. Congratulations, John. You are now a college graduate.
Wait, there's more. In 2014, the President's Medal was created by the President's Office of Kutztown University to be awarded to individuals who bring honor and distinction to our institution, and who serve as examples and role models to our student athletes. Past recipients of the medal include William Ribble, class of '73, longtime member of the KU Foundation Board. KU Pro Football Hall of Famer Andre Reed, class of 2005. Major League Baseball All-Star and two-time World Series champion Ryan Vogelsong. Gregory Doc Jones, a longtime head coach of the KU men's rugby team. Dr. Carlson Chambliss, long-serving KU professor, philanthropist, and scholar. Sandy Green, the former mayor of Kutztown University, former mayor of Kutztown and community leader and advocate, and most recently, Betsy Reese Crenshaw, class of 1950, the first African-American graduate in Kutztown University history. Now, here to present the 8th medal, once again, President Hawkinson.
As Josh said earlier, the President's Medal was created by the President's Office of Kutztown University to be awarded to individuals who bring honor and distinction to our institution, and who serve as examples and role models for our students, our alumni, and our broader community. At Kutztown University's football program began in 1895. In well over 100 seasons, the program has produced thousands of men who have gone on to accomplish great things in all walks of life. But the dream of any football player is to make it to the NFL. And only a small number of our Golden Bears have lived that dream of playing a career in the NFL. There were Doug Dennison and Bruce Harper in the 1970s, Pro Football Hall of Famer Andre Reed in the 80s and 90s. We recently, a few years ago, had Jordan Morgan, who was drafted onto the Chicago Bears. Our most recent player, who is currently playing for the Detroit Lions, Greg Reynolds. And of course, our guest of honor, John Mobley. John Mobley grew up in Chester, Pennsylvania, and attended Chichester High School? Okay, Chester High School, where he exhibited the type of rare talent on the field coveted by every program in the nation. As fate would have it, Mobley's path led him to Kutztown. The Golden Bears could not have been more fortunate to have him. After an incredible career at KU, he went on to represent us on the highest stage. John surprised the football world by becoming the highest ever draft choice in the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference and in KU history, when he was selected by the first round by the Denver Broncos. John proved the Broncos right with an 8-year career as a starter in the National Football League, earning All-Pro honors. 5 playoff berths, and 2 Super Bowl rings. John, you are a true inspiration for all of us. Thank you for all you have done as a representative of Kutztown University. We are very, very proud of you. It is now my honor and privilege to present the 8th President's Medal to an individual who has made a lasting impact on Kutztown University, KU football, Golden Bear Athletics, and the National Football League. As a token of our appreciation for all of his contributions, I recognize John Mobley with one of the highest honors of Kutztown University. I present the prestigious Kutztown University President's Medal. John, before we get I know you're pretty strong, but yeah, it's go play. You want to say a few words too?
Oh, man. What y'all trying to do to me, man? Wow. Sheesh. I don't even know where to begin. First of all, I just want to thank everybody who came today. Nothing but gratitude for everyone and everything that has happened today. Truly honored, and said I wasn't going to get emotional, but listening to Josh had me reminiscing a little bit about the journey, and something that I tell my kids all the time, coaching them. I tell them to appreciate the journey. You know, everybody's so anxious to get to the destination, and I think if you're so fast forwarding through everything, you kind of miss the moments that really count. And right now I want to talk to the people who really count to me, the ones that have helped me get here. I look and I see my family, and I mean, I couldn't have done any of this without you guys. You know, my mom, she's been the rock and strength for all of us. You know, she walked 10 blocks to work, never complained, take care of me, my younger brother, my grandfather who was WFT with Alzheimer's. She never once complained, and I'm sure that a lot of my strength comes from her, and my dad as well. You know, siblings, I really appreciate everything you guys have done to get me here. A lot of times we don't get a chance to thank the ones that have done the most. They get overlooked. And I just want to take this time right now to honor you guys and say thank you to my family. And I would be very remiss if I didn't mention the day ones, the coaches that I started with here, Coach Fetterman, and I think the most important guy there was Coach Mike Chisholm, who recruited me out of a tiny little high school in Chichester, me and my brother Chris, and you know, he saw big things for both of us and stuff that we didn't even see in ourselves, and he made a commitment to me, and that number 90 is what he wore at the University of Kentucky, and I honored him by wearing that for my freshman season. And I just want to thank those coaches, Coach Leonzi as well. Hope you rest in peace. And, one of the most influential coaches on that staff was Coach Bill Keeney, who was my linebacker coach, and he just recently passed before COVID. But I still use his drills today. That his linebacker drills, he taught me how to polka as well. I mean, Coach Pete Shaw, I mean, I can go on and on, but I think those guys really showed me that I had what it takes when I didn't believe I did. And the year I sat out, I think those guys reaching out to me and and keeping me strong throughout. I really appreciate everything they've done for me. The administration, everybody here, the staff, while I was here, they did whatever they could for me. To the ladies that stuck me in the cafeteria when I didn't have a meal plan. I mean, I thank all these people because, you know, without the small people, you know, you can never do the big things. And I think it's important for everybody to take time out to acknowledge those people in your lives that don't normally get that recognition, but without them, you probably wouldn't be where you are today. Last but not least, I want to thank Alex and President Dr. Hudson. Man, you guys, I don't know what you tried to do to me today. I really didn't see none of this coming. Coach Clements, I mean, love what you're doing here, man. I mean, I don't think these kids understand what you do and how much you pour into them. And man, just seeing the results on the field, I'm loving what you're doing, man. And I got you back 100% if you need anything from me. All right. But once again, thank everybody for coming out, man. I really appreciate all of this, and I promise to keep it brief. I also promised my wife I wouldn't get emotional, but I lied. But thanks again for everything.